Okay, having a look here, guys, with some problem solving involving simultaneous linear equations. There'll be plenty more of these problem solving videos as we work through the unit. Question here talks about your friend is 3 years older than twice the age of her brother. The sum of their ages is 18. It's asking you to calculate the age of both your friend and her brother using two simultaneous equations. So what we've got to identify first is that we need two equations and we need two variables. First equation is going to come from here. Second equation is going to come from here. Now my two variables, my y and my x, I'm going to let y be the friend's age, and I'm going to let x be the brother's age. Okay, so now that first sentence, the one in yellow, your friend is 3 years older than twice the age of her brother. Okay, so that means for equation 1, we're looking at your friend's age is equivalent to 3 years older than twice the age of her brother. Now, brother's age is x. We want twice that and another 3 years. Okay, so there's our first equation sorted there. Our second equation over here, it says the sum of their ages is 18. So that means the friend's age plus the brother's age equals 18. And there are our two equations that we're going to go with. Now, in terms of working with these ones, equation 1 is in the form of y equals mx plus c. Equation 2, however, is not. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. And I'm going to come up with that equation there. So that becomes my new equation 2. Okay. From here, we're going to go and identify the two things, based on the previous videos we've looked at, the two things that you need to be able to go and graph these two equations. They are, of course, the gradient and the y-intercept. Gradient of equation 1 is 2, y-intercept is 3. Gradient of equation 2 is -1, and the y-intercept is 18. Okay, so once we get that information, we can then go and plot, okay, same as referred to the previous video that we looked at, and we come up and we come to a point here. Okay, so we've got our two lines. We can quite clearly see that there is a solution here, and that's at point 513. What we can now go and do is we can go and substitute in the x and y value, this being the x and the y, to see if that left-hand side equals the right-hand side on both of the equations. If that's the case, then we've found that correct solution. So equation number 1 was y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, and we'll go substitute in now. Y is 13. 2 lots of x, which is 5 plus 3. 2 5s are 10 and 3 is 13. So that first one checks out because the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. Okay, our second equation was initially x plus y, or y plus x equals 18, and we went and rearranged that to y equals -x plus 18. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you use here when we're substituting in to check. This top one here looks easier for me, so I'm going to go and use that one. So y plus x equals 18, and that was one of our second equations. Y is 13 plus my x value of 5. 13 plus 5 equals 18. Therefore, the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. And we have a correct solution to those pair of simultaneous linear equations at point 513. Now, to finish off the question, keeping in mind, it says to calculate the age of both your friend and her brother using the equations. All right, so that solution of 513, we can now go and finish off this here by saying something like the friend is 13 years old and the brother is 5 years old. All right, so it's all good to get down to this point here, but we really need to finish off and make sure we answer that question in these problem solving ones.